Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm well myself. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm just thankful for you guys and especially the new subscribers. Thank you for the old subscribers, especially those who are sharing the content, and I just thank you so much for being here, and I'm so blessed. Hi guys, so I'm just unboxing my Google 7A. It comes like this, comes covered like this. This cover is a bit sticky on it. I don't know if, never mind. So it comes like this with the charger cable, but no charger, so you have to buy the charger separately at, I think, $35 it was. And yeah, it looks good. I initially wanted the Google Pixel 7 Pro because of the specs. My son says this is the new thing, and the camera is really good quality, and it was also very affordable. So I think it's an in between. Perhaps the Google 7 Pro and the 7 didn't work so well with sales, so maybe they came up with this. So in my wish list, I have a whole wish list. This year, I decided not to write a vision board or some vision notes, and I wrote a wish list. You would not believe what is in that list. So yeah, I went with what my son said, and I'm just starting it. So it really does look good. I haven't checked anything. In fact, um when they were going through the process, I was looking at some free J's. So yeah, I didn't take time to deal with it. So you have to go through the whole process of putting in your SIM card and all that, but I just don't have time to do that. So this could be the very last video I do with my S10. I've had it I've had my S10 since 2019. When we came here, I got it as a gift from hubby, and it was like kind of the same situation. He bought his phone and he bought my phone, and that's the same thing the Michael has done. So perhaps he's taking after his dad in taking care of his mom's needs, because I used to have a Motorola, and hubby was like, man, that's a big joke, the kind of Motorola I have. I know there's some very nice Motorola's. So he got the S10. It has served me well, and it has made me a lot of money. So I'm praying for the same blessings, and I am also praying for blessings upon my son. If it were not for him, I would not have gotten ready. So the charger comes with another cable, and that is good. So I'll have two cables, and I should just use this one and keep the smaller box, the narrower box. Yes, so I do hope to get better camera quality with this Google 7A. This is a good season. It's just before summer. It's gonna get so hot that I won't be able to even sit here and do content because it gets stifling hot. But for today, we are thankful, and like you've seen, I've just come back from buying a phone with my son. My kids are tired of me because of using the same old phone. Because it's not even clear. It doesn't give clear videos, and it's also been producing a funny light here down here that flickers, and it's affecting my eyes. So they're like, really, why can't you make a decision and go get a phone? So my son has been so tired. He was like, and this is the phone I got. It's the one he recommended. It's the new thing in the Google 7 series. I think it's a compromise because most people really want the Google 7 Pro, but it's quite expensive. It's the one I had on my wish list. I really wanted to get that phone, but yeah, I still hadn't gotten it. So my son was like, Toka, 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 let's go get this new one. And he says the camera quality is really good. So we will have to see when I do the next video. So I'm doing this video on the day that I'm supposed to post. Usually I do them on Monday, but I got really busy yesterday and I just couldn't. And I really hate going back on my commitments, because this is something I'm trying to form. I've not always been disciplined in doing things, and I always used to sometimes let things go and or not even have a routine on doing things. But I find that when I form disciplines to do things, they work so much better, you know. And so I'm really trying to prove this theory, and I see it working. I kudos to the people who've always used routines, so who've always been disciplined in certain things, and I know you can see the fruits, and it's a good thing. So that is why I talk on discipline, because I have seen the fruits, and I also emphasize the same even to my family. It's late, you know, in some things, but I thank God for the things he taught me before to use. But looking back, and that is why I'm doing this video. Looking back, yes, it's a place where you wish you had done things different, especially when I arrived and I was just contemplating my life, considering what I would go to. When I left the country, I left Kenya, or we left Kenya in 2017, yeah? And so by that time, I had been character developed in life, in so many things. And I was about to learn so many more things that I didn't have, or I had gotten an idea of, but never quite understood or never quite lived in those moments, yeah. So I was just about to see. And so this is one of those videos that I think are important to share. And so we left in 2017. I was 39. I had just turned 39 that April. We left in July. So I was just going into my 40th year. And career-wise, I had been trying to build a business for quite a long time, a pastry business, making majorly cakes. And we were lucky in that we were among the very first people that were selling cakes online. So for a long time, we built a business from really nothing, yeah, to a place where we were known for making cakes. And so we were making quite an income there. In fact, in the year 2015, I had just expanded. And then 2016, things went really crazy in the country. And also perhaps I didn't have the right systems in my business. So it started going down, and I had gotten to a place where I had debt in the bank. I had debt from my suppliers, not much debt. When you think about it, it wasn't even more than 300k, but it really character developed me. And so I come into a new land. Well, I had sorted out most of the financial issues, but I was like, I'm going into this land never wanting to do business again. So I had some a bit of trauma out of that, but I had learned also so much, and I had those skills, yeah. But as God would have it, God never lets you do something for so long and for it not to be used at a different place, yeah. And he really does repay all the years that the locusts have eaten. But that was my mentality coming in. So at 40, I didn't feel like I had so much time to make different choices. So I just wanted employment. I wanted to go to my job and come back home, take care of my family, you know, by cleaning and cooking for the boys. We were living with just the boys then, because hubby had already moved to the States. And we had a nice house that we occupied. And even before we left, I had talked to the boys and told them that in this place we won't have help, you know, to help clean around. And my boys had always had duties in the house, yeah. So in a way, it's like we were preparing for the new land, but not knowing what to expect, yeah. So again, we were about to be schooled in these things, in this new life, in this new arena. So what did I really learn coming abroad at 40. You know, I'm going to support this adage that life begins at 40. People have always said that, but what does that look like really? Let us say I'm the kind of person who, I do not exactly have the main character energy, but I do find myself in places where I'm like the main character. Yeah, perhaps it's the life I've lived of being in business, being the boss, you know, and also being, I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe I had never accepted that. Yeah, so yes, I used to give a wide berth for people who I didn't agree with, and I used to make a lot of compromises with people I agreed with, people I considered family or friends, but I found that that thing had kept me from really living. Now, if you've sensed that through my videos talking about the spiritual life, things in the spiritual, how they affect you, and that the fact that even if you consider yourself the underdog, there's so much more to life, and God is going to show you that he considers you too. Yeah, I never felt like, again, the main character, I never felt like God had his eye directly on me because of the life I had lived. Yeah, so this moment and this breakthrough was quite big, and I felt like God had finally had me. Yeah, and so coming in with this was deeply rooted in me. I felt like I had a moment with God, and he had me, and he opened doors, and this was my chance. Yeah, and I could take it and leave it. So at that moment, I was feeling like really God has had me. You know that Hannah moment? Eh? You remember the Hannah prayer we were talking about? You feel favored, you feel seen, you feel heard, and that makes quite a big difference. And that doesn't mean that your wounds heal. And that is why I'm saying, even when I moved abroad and I was thinking, most people were expecting that I would like get into business and just do this on a broader level. But this was interesting, and I shared this because so many people might find that maybe God will take you to a place where it's your place of fighting giants, it's your place of revelation, it's a place of getting assimilated. Canada was that for us. We got for me, for both me and the kids, it was a good place to start. It was a place where it's so easy to start, and though I felt challenged and I felt like this land was not what I expected, it's not what I dreamed, it's not what I thought would be, you know. So it was a smaller town, and coming from Nairobi, say it's a place, it's like going from Nairobi to a place like Eldoret, you know. And so the first thing you notice is like, oh, we've left Jomo Kenyatta, and this is like a very tiny airport. Yeah, so there's that, and then okay, that is the first thing that you notice, like, what, how small is this place really, you know. And so the thing about small towns is that eventually they catch you with their charm. Yeah, and you find that it's a really better place to get assimilated, to come into your own, to start embracing you know, the culture, you know. And I like how a certain preacher says culture eats strategy for breakfast. So I had this strategy to get into employment, to be just earning money out there, not bringing it into my house, because I had felt like I never gave my kids all my attention because of working in the home. So when we're supposed to be having a nice time together, I would be working on the cakes and all that. And though that was a blessing, I didn't feel like I gave them all the attention they needed. Yeah, so there had been so many changes that didn't suit everyone. And so as our family was growing, my boys talked about things that they didn't like. Yeah, so when I had that truth from them, it was I felt like I had failed them in that aspect. Yeah, so really I wanted to go into employment because of that, and also because business had licked me. And so with this new thing, I had come up with a strategy of how I will do things. Yeah, so being coming into this place, I'm very sure I want to go into employment. So the employment I started because I had been in the food industry forever, yeah, but never been in it so well that I could apply for like a management position, which is the only thing that makes sense in this restaurant. Otherwise, coming in at my age and having to work with mostly kids, because I came and started working at McDonald's. So working with mostly kids, there were other older people, mostly in management, and also some working towards management. I found that very tough, and especially because I had come from, where I had built my business to a point where I was a boss lady, yeah? You know, where you're called madam. People know where you're parking, and so when you come in or when you're picking your car, they're like, madam, nyongoa hivi, geuza gari hivi. They would direct you, the guys who sit around parkings or car washes, you would come, bring in your car to be washed, and they treat you so well. So coming from that, and also at my age, having to come and work at McDonald's was quite challenging for me. I know other people have had different experiences. Other people, I think also it depends on someone's personality, yeah? And perhaps God was teaching me something, because I learned and I really admired the McDonald's system of management. And I always felt like every time I worked there, I would be like, I wish I knew this when I was doing business, especially the systems of management, the systems of hiring, how they would have like so many workers and just have them on different shifts. I think that would have worked very well in businesses in Africa. Like if I went back to Africa and had to do business, I know I would have a really different model. So that was one, the challenge of being in workplaces with young people. And remember, I hadn't been employed in about 10 years. I hadn't been in employment, yeah. So that was quite a game changer. And that was one experience that really schooled me and humbled me, yeah. So because life begins at 40, and I would say life begins at 40 in this way. There's a level of care that you used to worry about what people think, what people say, lest you hurt the people around you, lest you hurt their feelings. And I think that is why sometimes God causes separation, because you could live with people for so long, you're hurting each other but never saying, but it's like you're so codependent, on each other. So you live in some sort of in some level of toxicity, yeah, allowing some percentage of hurt. You're hurting each other. Perhaps you're not even meant to each other to be with each other. Perhaps you were supposed to be with each other for a season and then move on to something else. But because you're all there, you're settling for what you have, and you don't make people happy. They don't make you happy, and you settle for the opinions. And also, when you live with people for so long, what they think about us is what we allow. If they think you're so limited in certain areas, and man, I realized you can even live with people for so long, they never think of you as creative, or your creativity level is just meh to them, There's nothing remarkable they see in you. And so sometimes God will allow separation so you all can grow, everybody, And it doesn't mean that the one who has left is now better. No, God just gives you that chance, and also that chance to be separated, so you can be alone for a time, you can be isolated for a time, so that whatever is in you can be brought out, so you can start living. I cannot believe I've already done 15 minutes. How is that even possible? And I'm only on the first point. Bear with me. So you will get, so life beginning at 40 means that you get the courage to sometimes say no to things, even if you won't say it. Now, for one, I realized a long time ago, and this had been me living a life for a very long time, because when I was a kid, I used to be a loner. I would sit somewhere. I'm telling you, I taught myself English, and I know my English is not the best, but I really did teach myself English. I would sit somewhere with a book and read. So when you see me obsessed about library, and I'm not there yet, if I could build a library, I would build a really good one, yeah? So I would sit in a corner with a book and with my tongue out. I used to be made fun of because of lisping. I was always like, it was a thing. And sometimes people don't accept you as you are. They don't think it's a thing. So yeah, I was like that, and I got a chance to come into myself. So I realized, oh, people were so kind. Like, people would come and take you shopping because I didn't have a vehicle. And we would go and just do that. So it was like another season of doing similar things, you know, going with your friends shopping, doing similar things, doing things together, yeah? And then one time I felt unease, you know, like I wanted to explore, because in Canada people go to Costco a lot. Like, you will get there in the morning when it's opening, people are full. They do that a lot. So one time I decided, no, this time I'm going shopping alone, because also I used to feel funny about having to ask for a ride, you know, and people will always take good care of you like that. They will tell you, if you need a ride to the shopping, just ask, yeah? And I was so happy the moment I decided not to ask and just go to Costco alone. So that experience of just doing this thing alone, I felt like it was a rebirth, you know? And oh God, no offense to the people who used to take me. They did so much to just make me feel feel comfortable, you know, to show me around. And so when that season passed, and you know, it's a season when you come and decide something, when you make a decision to do something different. And I hope that the people who help, especially the newcomers, do not take offense when these people eventually go on into their own, because they're really trying to understand this new land on their own. And for me, I think it was also the age. I wasn't comfortable just following. For once, with this new chance, with this new place, I wanted to lead. And I remember even coming to the country, I was insisting to my husband, don't ask for anyone to pick me, because he wasn't there. And he had planned to be there to just help us now get assimilated. It would have been wonderful, but he just couldn't. And so I was like, oh, how far is the airport to the house? Because he had already gotten the house. And man, it's true, we needed someone, because we needed to get power. It's funny that in Canada you don't have connected power, so they have to connect it. When you come, you have to visit the power company. And so the lucky thing is that my hubby's account still existed, so they reconnected that. And I think water was being paid by the landlord, I don't remember. And also the Wi-Fi also came to be in his name. And also Wi-Fi comes in with the cable TV, which would be the TV that you pay for, the channels that you pay for. And yeah, so Wi-Fi comes, the internet connectivity and the TV and all that, yeah. So yeah, those were in his account, but we had to sign up again, yeah. So that was important, to be guided by somebody else. But the time I started doing this thing alone, I now felt like I belonged in the city. I felt like I could own the city. And I stopped now reacting, yeah? I stopped reacting to how tiny this place is, to I could make it mine. And so I started living on my own terms, like seeing the place with my very own eyes and deciding for myself, like, how do I like this, you know? Starting to look at people like not a friend of so-and-so, but my friend, meeting new people on my own, you know? And that I felt was like really nice. And also continuing some traditions. Like, my son is a bit like me. Like, he will have people over come and eat at our house, especially, you know, the Africans. So that was something that had continued from Kenya. So there was that. So we could do things that we were actually just comfortable with. I think that was an age thing. I think if I was younger, at 20, I would have gone with the flow. Whoever is offering food in their house, I would be there, you know. whoever is taking me for shopping, I really want to go with them. So yes, I did have a lot of money, but I wanted to discover this place on my own. And I remember thinking, maybe it's so easy, we can get just a cab from the airport, give them our address and just go, you know, pass by the shop, buy mkate, maziwa, and then the next day we would walk around and find out where the shops are, you know. Yeah, I had an inkling of how we could start life. But yes, when you're new, you'll always find, especially when you're starting out in a new place, you'll always find people who will embrace you and help you in your initial days. But at some point, you'll want to do that thing on your own. So I'm going to do the rest of the points in another video, because obviously this is going to be too long. Okay, so tune in into the next one.